Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we will learn a new chapter in Chemistry Form 4 syllabus, which is Chapter 7, Rate-of Reaction. So in this chapter, we will cover 4 subtopics from Subtopic 7.1 until Subtopic 7.4. But today I will focus on Subtopic 7.1 only. So actually for Subtopic 7.1, which is determining the rate of reaction, I have divided my lessons into two parts, which is part 1, introduction to rate of reaction, and for part 2, calculation in rate of reaction. Okay, so in this subtopic, there are 3 learning standards that you should gain at the end of the lessons, which are number 1, to classify between fast and slow reaction. Number 2, to explain the meaning of the rate of the reaction. And number 3, to identify changes which can be observed and measured during chemical reaction, which actually can be done through an activity in laboratories. But then, since this is MCO period, I guess I have to show through videos only. So sorry guys. Alright, for starting, to give you an idea what is speed, let us watch this video together.
Observe the animation. What is the speed of the winning car?
Alright, as you can see in the video, there are 2 race cars that have completed 50-kilometer race with different time. So, what is the speed of the winning car, or can you explain what is speed? Okay, let us watch the second video to give the idea of the definition, rate of reaction.
Observe these videos. The videos show 2 different chemical reactions.
Okay, for the first video, it shows you the rusting process of an iron nail. And it took 4 days for the iron nail to completely rust. While in the second video, it shows the process of dissolving magnesium ribbon in an acid. And it took only 31 seconds for the magnesium to completely dissolve. Okay, so I have several things for you to ponder here. Which reaction is faster? Is it the rusting of a nail or dissolving magnesium ribbon in an acid? How do you classify whether the reaction is a fast or a slow reaction? What criteria do you use? And last, can you relate chemical reaction with time? Okay, now let us see some example on slow and fast chemical reaction. There are 4 videos for different chemical reaction. After all these reactions has complete, it will show the time taken, and then we can arrange it, categorize it from slowest reaction to fastest reaction based on the time taken.
Categorize these chemical reactions. Chemical reactions proceed at different speeds, right?
Yep, chemical reaction proceeds at different speed. In the first video, it shows a chemical substance that react with an acid and produce bubble of gas. The production of the bubbles of gas took 8 minutes and 7 seconds to complete produce. So it is placed in the second slowest reaction. While for the second video, it shows you a combustion of a chemical substance and it took only 11 seconds to complete. So we consider it as the fastest reaction here. Okay, for video number 3, it shows a reaction between an alkali metal with water. And it took only 22 seconds for the alkali metal to completely dissolve and produce an alkali solution, this one. So we consider it as the third slowest reaction. And last one, the reaction of a ripening of a banana. So this process took 2 days, so it is categorized as the slowest reaction. So different chemical reaction occurs at different rates. Okay, as a fast reaction takes a short time to occur, while a slow reaction takes a long time to complete. So the rate of reaction shows the speed of the reaction occurring. So this table shows the relationship between the type of reaction, whether it is fast or slow, the time taken, whether it is short or long, and the rate of reaction, whether it is high or low. If a fast reaction, it will take a shorter time, so it is said that the rate of reaction is high. While for a slow reaction, when the time taken is longer, so it is said that the rate of reaction is low. So remember to not to confuse between fast reaction or high rate of reaction. Okay, high rate of reaction, not fast rate of reaction, and low rate of reaction, not slow rate of reaction. Okay, fast and slow only referring to the type of reaction. Alright, next, can you give me the definition, rate of reaction? So rate of reaction is the speed at which from reactants convert into products in a chemical reaction. Or the formula that we can use for the rate of reaction is the change in the quantity of a reactant or product, whether the quantity will be the quantity of the reactant will be decreases or the quantity of the product will increases over time taken. Okay, next is the unit for rate of reaction. We can use 3 types of measurement, depends on the substance. Number 1, if it is in solid substance, solid form, we can measure the mass of the substance in unit gram. Gram per time taken, which is the time we can measure in unit second or in unit minute. So the unit will be gram per second or in gram per minute. Okay, for number 2, if the substance is in gaseous form, we can measure the volume of the substance, volume of the gas in unit cm cube. So the unit will be cm cube per second or cm cube per minute. Okay, and last one, if the substance is in liquid form, we can measure the concentration of a substance in unit mole per dm cube. So the unit will be mole per dm cube per second or mole per dm cube per minute. Alright, so next we are going to identify which reaction is a fast reaction that has a high rate of reaction, or is it a slow reaction that has a low rate of reaction. Okay, for number 1, the process of photosynthesis, it will take several hours to produce food to the plant, so it is considered as a slow reaction. Okay, next is the fermentation of glucose. It took several hours for the fermentation to take place. Again, it is a slow reaction. Okay, number 3, Double decomposition reaction is a reaction between two soluble salts to produce an insoluble salt. So once you've mixed between the two soluble salts, it will produce a precipitate immediately. So it is a fast reaction. Okay, next is the neutralization reaction between acids and alkali. So it just took only a few seconds to increase the pH of a solution when alkali is added to an acid until the universal indicator change color to green to indicate that the pH value of the solution is 7. So again, it is a fast reaction. Rusting of iron, slow reaction because it took several days to several years for your iron gates to be rust. Reaction between alkali metals and water is a fast reaction. And last one, the decomposition of food waste by bacteria took quite some time. So again, it is a slow reaction as well. Alright, changes that occur during reaction. To determine a rate of chemical reaction, must be made based on the changes that can be observed and can be measured in a certain period of time. So, what are these changes? Let us see this video clip first.
Observe the animation. What happens during a chemical reaction? The reactants will be used up and the products will be formed as the chemical reaction proceeds. If you were to determine the speed of this reaction, what will you measure as the reaction proceeds with time? In this reaction, we can see that the size of marble chips decreases and gas is given off. Thus, we can measure these changes to determine the speed of the reaction.
Okay, as you can see in the video, when hydrochloric acid react with marble chips, it will produce carbon dioxide gas. The carbon dioxide gas released will be delivered through the delivery tube from here, and then it will displace the water inside the measuring cylinder. So we can measure the volume of gas produced by using the measuring cylinder. Besides that, the loss in mass of marble chips also can be measured by using an electronic balance. So number one, the observable and measurable changes is increase in the volume of gas. Okay, as the time increases, the quantity of the product, which is the volume of gas, will increases too. And then number two, the decrease in the mass of the reactant. As the time increases, the quantity of the reactant, which is the mass of the marble chip, decreases. Okay, and what are the criteria? Number three, let's look at the video first.
Let's look at other chemical reactions to find out how we can determine their rates of reaction. Click on each reaction and observe the animation. What are the observable changes in this chemical reaction?
Alright, so it is the formation of precipitate. So actually when sodium thiosulfate react with hydrochloric acid, it will produce a sulfur, which is a yellow precipitate. After a while, the precipitate form will cover the bottom of the beaker. So if you put the beaker on a paper with an X marks on top of it, it will take the time taken for the yellow precipitate to form and cover up the X marks. Okay.
Let's look at other chemical reactions to find out how we
is the formation of the precipitate. Alright, other than that, we also okay, let's look at this one first.
What are the observable changes in this chemical reaction? How How would you measure this observable change in order to determine its rate of reaction? We can determine the rate of reaction by measuring how long it takes for acidified potassium manganate 7 solution to decolorize.
Alright, so number 4, as the observable and measurable changes, is the change in the color of the solution. Okay, because the color of the acidified potassium manganate 7 will change from purple to colorless. Okay, and besides that, we also can see or can measure the change in pressure in reaction involving gases, the change in the electrical conductivity by using the galvanometer, and also the last one, the change in pH values by using pH meter. Okay, we are already at the end of the lesson. So I'm going to summarize the lesson today. First of all, we had learned that there is two types of chemical reaction, which is slow reaction and fast reaction. For a slow reaction, it will take a long time to complete, thus the rate of reaction will be lower. Perhaps you can recall back several examples for a slow reaction such as fermentation and rusting. And as for a fast reaction, it will complete in a shorter time, thus the rate of reaction is said to be higher rate of reaction. An example for a fast reaction, like we had just discussed, are combustion and neutralization. Right, next is the definition of rate of reaction. It is the progress of the reaction over time, or the speed at which the reactants are converted into a product. Or if you want to write it in the form of formula, it is the quantity of observable change that divide with time. So what is the observable and measurable change? Such as increasing volume of gas, a decrease in the mass in the reaction mixture, formation of precipitate, pH change, color change, and also the change in the electrical conductivity. Alright, so I guess that's all for today. Thank you for listening. Goodbye and have a nice day.